All right, I just can't wait any longer. 11th edition is officially here, y'all. So freaking pumped. So freaking excited. We got the points and all that good stuff. We got the new app. And boy, do we just have a lot to talk about, and just very excited. So wherever you are joining, to the 70 of you that are already in here, seriously appreciate you hanging out. We're going to be talking all things Necrons, a little bit on the Tyranids towards the end. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be here for a terribly long time, but as you know, always a good time. So I want to kind of get straight to the point, talk about the points updates, my initial thoughts, what I think some of our go-to combos are. Obviously, I've been testing a bunch of different stuff for you guys behind the scenes, figuring out what works and what's maybe not working as much. Feel free to drop maybe your hot takes in the comment section below, and I can answer them throughout the live stream today. I'll probably be live for about 45 minutes or so. And just excited just to hang out with you guys and talk about this. Just a great time. I mean, the app looks so freaking cool. We got this new, to the left of me here, we have the new field manual, which is, I mean, this is just cool. I think this is cool. So let's pop open the Necrons, because that's why you guys are here, and let's go line by line, and I will give you my initial thoughts. And spoiler alert, I will probably be doing a tier list at the end of the week, probably on Friday. Initial tier list going into 11th edition, and my thoughts. So be looking for that later this week, okay? But because you guys are here, you guys are giving my initial take. So Necrons, here we go. Here we go. All right. So first thing, slight bummer, but I understand. I wish the points changes would have been in red, okay? But I think the reason they are not is because we are just going to a new edition. We are hitting the reset button, and there is a new baseline, right? So I think that's probably why they're not in red. And so let's just go line by line and figure things out. I can tell a lot of you guys are really excited in the chat, and so am I. I think this is going to be good. So we have the Annihilation Barge, 95 points. I'm going to be honest. I don't own an Annihilation Barge. I've never played an Annihilation Barge. Off the top of my head, I don't fully know what it does. I know it does like some sort of like little shock thing. But you know, is what it is. Okay, Scarab Swarms, they're staying the same. Scarab Swarms, I'm going to give you a little hot take on the Scarab Swarms. I think they are, I don't want to say borderline auto include in every list, but they are so good in 11th edition. Just because screening is so difficult, you guys are going to find. So those of you that are in the chat, maybe haven't played really a game of 11th edition yet, definitely going to want to get yourself some Scarabs. And the nice thing about Scarabs, they really come in, you know, it's so easy to get them, right? And I mean, if you slam one or two of these in a list, you're going to be fine, okay? Catacomb Command Barge looks like it stays the same at 120 points. Still a solid unit. I mean, it's a great piece if you build your list around it. In my initial 11th edition list, I haven't really been running it at all or needing a reason to, but not saying it's not bad. I think if you want to combo it with some like Immortals and Hand of the Dynasty, I think that could be super spicy. I think that would bring them up to like OC4 models, which is pretty nuts. So there's definitely some combos with Command Barge. So I think overall good that it is not going up in points. All right. Next up, let's talk about the Catan. So there were some rumors going around, you guys are going to see later on, that we were wondering if potentially they were going to group Catan up in one, like, hey, if you bring one Catan, it's this many points. If you bring two, it's this many. But it looks like they're like, no, each one is going to be handled individually. And spoiler alert, they all went up in points. Okay, so the Catan chart of the Deceiver, it looks like went up like 15 points. I think it was like 310 or 315 before. Guys, that is a steal, okay? I was expecting them to go anywhere between like up 20 and 30 points, just because Catan They literally benefit from every rule update in 11th edition. They can go through walls for -2 movement. They can tow into terrain and shoot through it. They are -1 to hit if they're obscured. Like, I mean, like they're just crazy good in my testing. I mean, who would have thunk? I mean, they're great right now in 10th edition. They're going to be amazing in 11th edition because all the rules literally just give them buffs. So I hate to say it. If you're a Necron player, you do love this. I think, you know, if you're still slamming 2 or 3 Catan in a list, you know, you're probably doing something right, honestly, because they're what I found, especially in the testing, is durable, rapid heroics are super strong in 11th edition, that deep strike and all the Catan deep strike. So, but we'll have to see. So it looks like Catan Shard of the Deceiver went up about 15 points. Doom Scythe is at 200. I'm trying to remember. Was that a drop? Wasn't it like 210 or something like that? Or maybe it's the same. Check me in the chat. I'm not quite sure. Ghost Arc went down 100 points. Or not 100 points. It went down to 100 points. All right. Man, I wish it went down 100 points. But I think it was 115 before. So 100 points for the Ghost Arc. Interesting. I mean, a couple of buddies and I and the Only Crons, we really liked running the Ghost Arc in what was it? Star Shatter, because you could give it the -1 damage. There could be some interesting tech top of mind with Hand of the Dynasty. That now this thing is cheaper because of I've been really trying to run around with a list with Obeisance Phalanx and Hand of the Dynasty, just because you could run 1 brick of those Immortals and you don't have to put the Plasmancer in there to give them the crit 5s, because you have just the 1 CP stratagem, and the Overlord gives the CP reduction. So now all of a sudden in Obeisance Phalanx, you have 10 Immortals that could be crit 5s, advanced shoot in action, and what else? The CP reduction, and then their full hit and wound rerolls, because you can run the enhancement on the Overlord. Seems pretty good. Seems pretty good. Okay, so maybe there's some tech with the Ghost Arc would be interesting, like running Immortals, giving the Ghost Arc -1 damage, and Obeisance Phalanx could be interesting. Imhotep 100 points. That's fantastic. I think he is super relevant going into 11th edition with the CP gain. I don't know how relevant it's going to be, though, I will say. I know some of my buddies behind the scenes, they've been really liking Imhotep. I'm personally not completely sold on him. Also, pause. Seriously, the 100 of you that are in here, seriously appreciate you hanging out, talking all things Necrons. Feel free to drop your hot takes in the chat. I'll try to get to them as we go along here, but going one by one light item on points updates. So Imhotep is interesting with the CP farm, because what I've been finding in games is the tempo is a little bit different in 11th edition. By a little bit different, I mean kind of a lot different, mainly because of how the secondary cards work. Now that we know that you can only get a new orders, which means that essentially at the start of your turn, during your command phase, when you're drawing your secondaries, you have the ability once per game now to cycle one of those cards to get a new one. So, like, that factored in, yes, having the extra CP is great, but, you know, he is 100 points. I don't know. I haven't been writing him in my list personally, but I'm not saying he's bad. Lich Guard. Lich Guard are going up in points by 10. I am assuming this is in for Cursed Legion, because I will say, guys, it is a very strong combo. I don't know if in any of my Cursed Legion games my Lich Guard have died. I'm trying to think. No, they have not died. Mainly because you have the reactive -1 to hit strat in my opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase. So essentially, Lich Guard with the updated rules can potentially be -2 to hit and then -1 to wound if you're higher strength than their toughness. And in Curse Legion, you can give them advance in charge. They're moving 13 inches because of the +2 move enhancement. Lich Guard are going down in points, not up. Weren't they? Oh, okay. I misheard. I thought they were. For some reason, I thought it would. Maybe I'm confusing with Immortals, because I was thinking Immortals 5 for 70. That's what it was. Oh, okay, okay. So they did go down. Okay, good news. All right, more good news, guys. I tell you that these people at Games Workshop, man, they're looking out for us. I tell you what, they are Necron enjoyers. All right. So Overlord did go up a little bit. Looks like he went up like 5 points. I think that's fine. Nothing crazy. Rural Warden, I'm actually kind of surprised he didn't go up in points, just because his ability, like just go up 5 points, just because his ability to turn off Battle Shock at the start of the phase, I think has a lot more value now in 11th edition. I haven't specifically written a list with him in it yet, but I think that's good that he's only 50 points. Okay. Technomancer. One model, it's 80 points, and then your second unit, interesting, is 90 points. So I think the call out here, and one thing that I've been noticing in my testing games is if you're wondering if race are still good, yes, they are very good. They are very, very good in 11th edition. Just in general, if you have a unit that is durable and that can reanimate, it seems initially in my testing extremely powerful in 11th edition, and very annoying to deal with because, again, think about it. Race are benefiting from all the new rules. -1 to hit, right? Lone op. Like, they were already difficult to kill, and now you're telling me like they're -1 to hit, and they could potentially, and I say lone op because if you guys already know, maybe we can touch on this later, but the go to ground rule, if you go into the app, has been updated. So essentially, if you are able to have a unit that's hidden, they didn't shoot, I think there was one other qualifier in there, you can -3 inches to your detection range. Now, the big caveat with go to ground is the fact that the unit has to be like basically completely blocked. So if you have any one model that is fully visible for the attacking unit, you're not going to get that extra 3-inch detection range. But there is an opportunity for, essentially, if you position it right, for race to literally have a 12-inch hidden, which is great. They do get a slight nerf with the flyover mortals because they're a lot more difficult to do. The two main reasons for this is with the new fly mechanic, when you take to the skies, you're losing 2 inches of your movement doing that. So it was kind of a like slight debuff for infantry fly, but it was a buff for monster flies because it gives them the ability to go through walls like Catan. And then the 2-inch engagement range. So rays have to be a lot closer to your opponent in order to get those flyover mortals off. I'd say like that's like the one debuff, but not like a super big deal, but just something to point out. Okay. So this makes sense why the Technomancer, the second unit, they're kind of worried about if people are going to slam race. You're obviously going to be running Technomancers in there. So the 10-point hike totally makes sense. Okay. The Transcendent Catan. Oh, okay, interesting. So on the Transcendent specifically, they are increasing points if you take multiple. So 340 for the first one. I think that's like again, like a 15-20 point increase. And then if you take a second one, that's going to be a 40-point increase. So I think this mainly affects if you're running Pantheon of Woe. And you were taking multiple Transcendent Catan. There is also builds with Hypercrypt where this would come into play as well. Okay, excuse me. All right, let's go back up to the top here. So the Canoptic Doomstalker is 140. I think that's still the same. Canoptic Spider went down, I think, by 5 or 10 points, it looks like. So spiders are... I think spiders are interesting again, just for the fact that Necrosaur is Fight First isn't as good. Fight First is still relevant. I mean, don't get me wrong, and I still think he is a decent take in Awakened Dynasty. But you know, Spider going down in points, that's a little interesting. You know, I do like it. So Chronomancer up. That totally makes sense. Thank God they didn't change his ability. He just gives you a blanket -1 to hit. So if you attach them to like a new Immortal brick, they're getting Fire and Fade. They're -2 to hit and shooting. And they're going to be -1 hit in combat. Now, I will say one thing to note, guys, is I would say in a lot of the games I've been playing, good opponents that are writing these lists, I've been finding that a lot of opponents, their main shooting platforms, they've been leaning into things that either ignore mods or are psychic. So if we're thinking like the top of the meta with potentially Tau, really powerful shooting army, Thousand Sun shooting army, played against this really cool Shadow Legion list last night and dropping in Havocs, like they ignore all hit modifiers. So I think we're going to find in the meta that people that are doing downrange shooting, they're going to have like ignore hit mods or something in some way. Because I've even noticed when I've been playing in some of my Tyranid games with like even like running Exocrines, Maleceptors, that sort of thing, where they have heavy and they can tow in, it still feels like underwhelming because a lot of times like you're moving them and then like they're still getting the -1 to hit. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what kind of different shooting armies flourish in this this new meta and this new edition. So Chronomancer going up, that makes complete sense. And then Catan Shadow the Nightbringer, it looks like he went up about 20 points, I think. So yeah, guys, I mean, nothing to complain about. I mean, let's not sugarcoat it. Like, any army would kill to have these Catan at their current point cost. That's my bet. I mean, like, you still just take them. I mean, they're just so good, guys. They're so good. Doomsday Arc, 1 for 200 points. The third unit costs 220. Now, I know they were talking about... let me look in my app here. Maybe I can swing over here in a second, but I wanted to see... Because do you guys know on the Doomsday Arc cannon? Because they were talking about, hey, if you take a Doomsday Arc and you use like, or change like its gun. No, nothing in there. Okay. Or like Immortals. Like Immortals, are they the same whether they take the... Let's see. Immortals, range weapons. No. Keywords, unit composition. Yeah, no. Okay. Do you guys know, also the 160 of you that are in here, seriously appreciate you out. If I could talk, appreciate hanging out and watching. Feel free to drop your hot takes in the chat. I'll try to get to it towards the end here, but just going line by line on the updates and my initial thoughts and strength and weaknesses, I think, of each of these units in 11th edition. No Wigger cost for Necrons at all. Okay, cool. In other armies, are they putting the war gear like in this manual, or do you have to find it in the app? Question, you mentioned the point strat earlier on the Immortals to get the crits. Did I hear we're limited to a single strat per phase now? Yeah, you can only use one stratagem per phase. That is correct. All right. Is the Silvertide playstyle going to be viable? I think it can be. I'm still working out a list that will make sense, but Hand of Dynasty definitely has legs. I think it's most interesting combined with Obeisance Phalanx or Hypercrypt, in my personal opinion. I think it has like the greatest strengths. I wouldn't be surprised if we also see kind of a Silvertide variant in Canoptic Court. I think it was very intentional that was 3 detachment points, because if we were able to combine Canoptic Court with Hand of the Dynasty, I think things would not be okay. So it's probably good that detachment, as sad as it is to say, is 3 detachment points. But Let's keep moving on. Hexmark Destroyer, 75 points. Great take. Hexmark, I've been thinking about bringing him back with the Veil of Darkness in Awakened Dynasty, so you can up-down him at the end of the game. I've been finding in my testing, I'm just going to tell you guys right now, Ophidian Destroyers, there should be 1 unit in every one of your lists. Borderline, maybe 2. Because of how the secondary cards work and having the ability to hold cards, especially if you're going bottom of turn, I can't tell you how many points these Ophidians have. Like, sometimes, like, 1 unit will net me, like, 10 points. It's crazy. And then the fact that they're the perfect unit on 40 mils to maximize the new 9-inch coherency. So you are spending 80 points, but you're spending 80 points for a unit that's screening your backfield, which is extremely valuable now, even more so than in 10th edition. And the fact that you can use them towards the late game to go score, like, you know, drop in at the end of the game, get plunder, get behind enemy lines, get forward position, get cleanse, right? It's been great. Like, we really need to start thinking about when you're writing lists, guys, in 11th edition is we can sit back for a little bit, but you really got to focus on pushing forward because so many of the cards are positional in your opponent's territory. And it's one of those things, because we can only draw 1 new card for the whole game, you might just get stuck with a lot of those cards that you have to go into your opponent's territory. So if you don't build your list to be able to being capable of doing that, you're gonna have a rough time. So just start thinking about that when you guys are designing lists this weekend or going into or later this week and this weekend. All right. Monolith up 20 points. Oh my god. It's fine. It's fine. This is probably the first one I don't agree with. We still made out like bandits, but the problem with the Monolith, guys, is it's still, look, I've been playing Pharaoh's Army and it's cool. Okay, it's fun, right? I just wanted to bring out my Monolith, bring out the toys I've been using for years. But I'll be honest, if I was going to a GT tomorrow, I wouldn't be playing a Monolith and I wouldn't be playing a Tesseract Volt because the damage is just too high. It's just too high. So I would have liked the Monolith to go down 20 points, not up 20 points. I probably still wouldn't have taken it. But the meta's just too lethal. I think there's just too much damage. That's my take. My initial take on it, okay? Obelisks, 280, 310. They're cool, you know? We know Mr. Walter himself likes them. I might have to get him back on the channel at some point. It'd be good to talk shop and agree and disagree with some hot takes, some opinions. It's always fun. Overlord with Translocation Shroud, 90 points. So I think that also went up 5 points. I think that makes completely sense. Super strong. Stripe Type Heavy Construct looks like it stayed the same at 540. Tesseract Volt 445. That also go up 20 points? Okay. All right. I mean, guys, like, the Tesseract Volt, the main thing was it's indirect. And you guys already nerfed indirect into the ground, which is great. Okay? I'm totally for it. All right? But this also did not need to go up 20 points. All right? Again, should have gone down 20 points. But here we are. Trajan, 65. Poor guy. Until the next edition, yeah, it's just not going to happen. Nothing's going to save him. Oh, guys, check this out. Canoptic Macrosize, down 5 points. They still need to go down another 40 for me to take them. So if you own them, great. If you don't, good job. They are next to useless. So, but hey, maybe somebody can make them work. I don't know. But yeah, they're just, yeah, it's just crazy. They need to be like 40 points. Canoptic Tomb Crawlers, 50. That's overall good. I'm surprised they maybe didn't go up like 5 points. Convergence of Dominion, 60. Void Dragon went up a little bit. I am honestly, so one thing, guys, I will say, and I'm going to mention this in my tier list, is the fact that the Void Dragon and the Nightbringer, I honestly feel like with the updated rules are 1A and 1B. Mainly because the Void Dragon with his AP1 gun got a lot better. Like, he's really good at clearing, or a lot better at clearing just chaff than the Nightbringer is. I still probably overall, yes, the Nightbringer is better, but I think in general in the meta, I'll be honest, I probably, if I was like, all right, I got to put one Catan on my list, what's the first one? I would probably put the Void Dragon before I put the Nightbringer. I think because I think just in the meta, if I'm thinking about, like, you guys saw the most recent battle reports with like T-Suns, Tau, right? I genuinely think some of these armies are going to be like probably top 5, top 8 armies in the game. The damage is just like, the damage is crazy. Both of those armies ignore modifiers. They're super fast. The damage potential is crazy, and they're all vehicles. And the Void Dragon is just much more reliable in terms of getting those off the table than the Nightbringer potentially is, even though he has devs, right? Flayed Ones. Flayed Ones are down 5 points. Okay, here's the interesting part with Flayed Ones, I will say, guys. I have not been running Flayed Ones in any one of my lists in 11th edition, and I don't miss them. I feel like against a lot of the missions, they are potentially a liability because they're squishy and they're feeding my opponent free points, especially if I believe that Necrons are probably going to be strongest when playing Take and Hold. And if you're running into a Purge the Foe player and you're like, yeah, dude, here's my Flayed Ones, and you just fed them like 5 points, right? So, like, I still think you can take them, especially when you have the redeploy with the Deceiver. I don't think it's a bad pick. But I have particularly not missed them in my list in 11th edition, which is very interesting. So, Illuminor Xeris, he went up, it looks like, I think, 5 points. Was he 170, I think? 170. So, I think that's solid. I'm surprised he honestly didn't go up more. This guy is a freaking scam, guys, in 11th edition. Like, especially the way the layouts work, literally this guy, he was already tough to kill, and now you're telling me he gets -1 to hit? Okay. Yeah, he doesn't do a lot of damage, but you don't need him to in certain lists. He forces the response, which is great. Locust Heavy Destroyers, very interesting. These go down, it looks like 15 points total. Very good. I like that. I know my fellow teammate Flocky is going to be super excited about that. So down 15 points there on the Heavy Destroyers. I think the Emetics are back on the menu, whether you're running them in Hypercrypt. Obviously, the Cursed Legion with the new Heavy Destroyer detachment. Giving them, yeah, I mean, the AP1 sustained, super good with that volume of shots. So, Necron Warriors down 10 points for 10. So, 80 points for 10 models, guys. It looks like they're trying to incentivize us to run some Warriors are back in 20 for 190. I'm going to be honest, guys. Bringing just 20 Warriors in Hand of the Dynasty just to be like scout up and just like get on the midfield is very annoying for your opponent turn 1. I'm not going to lie. Because it's not like a crazy point. I mean, 190 points is a lot. And look, don't get me wrong. They don't do really any damage. But 20 at 190, it's interesting. I'll tell you what, it's interesting. Ophidian Destroyers. This is great news for us, guys. This is going to be one of the units I think that's going to surprise you. This Ophidian Destroyers are S tier for Necrons. That is my first hot take, personal opinion. Ophidian Destroyers, 1 unit in every list. They are fantastic. I have been running 2 usually. and it's been great. So Phidians being only 80 points, I think that is great for us. They're also fantastic in Cursed Legion. Plasmancer, 55. I think that's the same point cost. I think it was 55 before. Scorpex are down. I think that is okay. I think that's a good change. Also in my testing, mainly because I'll be honest, guys, like moving 8 with advance and charge on these boards, it's still difficult to connect. Like it is not easy. Like moving 8 with advance and charge is scary because there's not really good staging points outside of your deployment zone against good opponents. And like if you move, I feel like moving 10 in advance and charge is like the perfect sweet spot. But moving 8 in advance of charge, it's really it's still kind of sketchy. It's still kind of sketchy as far as. So let's see here. Checking up on the chat here. I bought one recently. Love the Ophidians. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, the Ophidians are great, man. You might want to pick up a second box, but one will do you fine. I love that the article saying fast melee units would be more expensive, followed by Scorpex and Praetorians being cheaper. I think what they're meaning by fast melee is units that move 10 or above, I think is the break point. And that makes sense from my testing as well, because I think they do know that in this new edition with the staging points, it is harder to deliver that damage. And we're a lot more susceptible to Overwatch threats because you have things like, you know, T-Fexes with acid spray. I mean, we haven't even got to, what is it, Salamanders and Space Marines. You know, they're towing in Land Raiders, and you're like, well, I don't exactly know where my Scorpex are going without getting rinsed. Or Thousand Suns that you guys just saw on the channel. Go watch that battle report if you haven't. That'll give you a very eye-opening experience of melee against Thousand Suns, which I wanted to do. So, yeah, I think that's good. Silent King 400, that's fine. I think he probably could have come down like 10 points if I'm being completely honest. Again, because I think it falls into the category of like the meta is just so lethal. And you know, he's taking up a quarter of your army almost, and he doesn't get as much value from the indirect anymore. That was like the one thing that made him really, really good was his indirect. So I feel like it's really hard to make up his points cost. Don't get me wrong, he's still amazing in Starshatter Arsenal and Obeisance Phalanx, but outside of that, I don't know. I'm not super high on him, if I'm being honest. I hate to say that, but because we love the Silent King, but I think there's just better options for us right now. Tri-Praetorians are down to 80 points, and then 160 for 10. Super spicy. I think that's super interesting because, yeah, Praetorians, they deep strike, they reroll charges, and Phalanx, they can get +1 to wound. So I think we could make Praetorians work now. Especially deep striking infantry in 11th edition, I found are very strong because you can deep strike them in on footprints and then they're essentially getting loan op. So think of it like if you rapid your Praetorians in somewhere strong, they could just wrap it in and have hidden or loan op and you're good to go, which is pretty cool. So unless they do some sort of FAQ later, which might happen if they find it being too strong, where it's like, you know, your unit had to be in the footprint at the start of the turn or something like that to get hidden. But as of right now, that's how it works. Reanimator down 5 points. Fantastic for us. These things are great in like every detachment because they're so cheap. They're really great in Hypercrypt because they're very annoying to shift because you can give them a 4-up invul and they have a 4-up Feel No Pain for 70 points. It's pretty crazy. So it's kind of weird tech you can do with them. Ray stayed the same. Or maybe they went up 10 points. I think they were still 220 for 6, right? So that's a steal. One thing that is amazing, guys, I'm telling you right now, don't sleep on the unit of 3 race. Okay? That is one thing that has pleasantly surprised me. And that combo went down 15 points. I think originally it was 3 for 110, and now it's 95. So if I had to say one of the other best changes right here is this. This right here, pay attention to for sure. Because again, with race, like you're paying 95 points for 12 wounds that are a 3-up, 4-up invul and move 10. And now they can have -1 to hit and hidden because they're infantry and beasts. So very good, I think. Crypto Thrall 60. Deathmark stay the same at 60. Geomancer 75. Immortals 70 and then 140 for 10. So I believe that stayed the same. Locust Lord. Ooh, Locust Lord. Did he go down? Wasn't he like 85 before? Did he drop 15 points? So that's crazy. So the... Dude, I think he did. Because I'm pretty sure, wasn't it... if you ran three Locust Heavies with the Locust Lord, I think that was like a 265 point package. And now 3 for 150 plus the Locust Lord is down to 220. So that kit went down 45 points. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That is interesting now, I will say. So Cursed is spicy. Immortals down 10 for... Oh, they were 150 for 10? Okay, I thought they were 140 for 10. Okay, so they're down 10. Necrosaur went down 5. I think that makes complete sense. And Oricon looks like went up. I think that makes sense. Psychomancer stays the same. I think that makes sense because he's support now. Scorpec Lord stays the same at 90. I think that makes sense for Awakened Dynasty. Tombblades went down to 70 points for 3. I don't think you really run these in 6-mans, maybe outside of like Cryptic Conclave. I think that just doesn't really make sense. But the Tombblades for 3 at 70 points is super interesting. There's some interesting combos with Hypercrypt and the Tombblades, even though you can't drop them in Fire and Fade, which is kind of unfortunate. That was like their main shtick, I feel like, a lot of times, or like on an Ingress play. But you can deep strike them still in on an Ingress, which is nice. So I think there's some interesting utility there with Hypercrypt and running a lot of Tombblades instead of running like Hand of the Dynasty with Hypercrypt. But again, we'll have to wait and see. There's a lot of testing going on behind the scenes and have to figure stuff out. Trark Stalker 110. I was kind of hoping these guys went down. I mean, I totally get they're still 110 because they're Pleasantly guys. They are amazing. Like in Obeisance Phalanx, 110, and they have -1 to hit now, -1 to wound, 3-up, 4-up, or sorry, not -1 to wound, -1 to hit, -1 damage for a CP in Obeisance Phalanx at 110. Amazing durable package for 110 points. Like that is amazing. So, all right, so here's all the units. Annihilation Legion. I don't know fully if this all... Cursed Legion. I don't know if this went like up or down. I'll be completely honest with you. Mainly just looking at the upgrades. So Sky Shroud Spearhead is 20 points. I believe Deepening Madness. Is that the one that gives them the rapid fire, I believe? Is that correct, I think? Or no, wait, is this... Oh, no, I'm thinking of the other one. Okay. Tools of Dominion. I can't remember. Which one's which here? Is this one 15 for the rapid fire? Still good. This is all the same. Okay. So overall, man, for the 190 of you that are in here, seriously appreciate you watching. I'll probably be here for like another like 15, 20 minutes. So drop your questions in the chat if you have them. And I think overall, we made out here, man. This is fantastic. Catan, we knew they were going to go up. I think they went up less than I was expecting. I think overall Ophidian staying the same point cost is amazing. If I had to say the top 3 things, if I were you, to take a look at is Ophidians, The unit of 3 race is very interesting, and then the Locust Destroyer drop. They didn't drop in, let's see here, 1, 2, 6 models. Yeah, I think just the destroyers in general, like across the board, they dropped, which is interesting. I think these dropped, the 6 Locust Destroyers dropped by 20 points, and then the Locust Heavies dropped by 15. Even a unit of 2 Amitics for 100 points is very interesting. So check that out. I would say right now, if you want my hot takes, because that's why you guys are here. I hate to say it, guys. I hate to say it, but I think overall, still our strongest attachment is Awakened Dynasty, which is why it's 3 detachment points, because Xeris is just a scam, and he got even more of a scam because he is -1 to hit. So your opponent is just going to hate that. How would you spend the remaining points of the Awaken list, which you posted yesterday? I believe, so it's kind of funny. So in the members only channel, I posted a list, my Awaken list that I was like drawing up, and I updated my app this morning, and it came out to exactly 2,000 points. It's like I just knew all along. I really didn't, but I just knew. It came out to exactly 2,000 points. I was like, you can't make this up. It was so funny because some people like messaging me on Discord this morning, like, dude, there's no freaking way this list came out to exactly 2,000. I'm like looking, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So that was cool. So let's see here. So Awaken list, let's see, Pantheon plus Dynasty still runnable. Yeah, I mean, I think you could. I think as far as right now, the top like, if I were going to go to a GT tomorrow, if I were to say like what would be our top 3 options, it would be, personally, I think it's either going to be Awakened Dynasty. The second, I think, would be Hypercrypt and Hand of the Dynasty. And no, I take that back. First would be Awakened. Second, I think, would actually be Canoptic Court. I think that's what my gut tells me based on my testing so far. And I think the third would be a combo detachment. So I think either I don't love, like, Cursed and Pharaoh's Armory. It's super cool. It's super fun, guys. But I don't think if you're trying to like go undefeated in a tournament is the way to go. I think if you're, playing with friends and, want to play your Monolith and jumping things out, it's cool. But I think Curse Legion combined with either Hand of the Dynasty is a very interesting combo. The only bummer about combining it with Hand of the Dynasty is the fact that there's no way to give the Immortals rerolls to hit, and that's where you get a lot of the value. So I feel like you're better off combining it with the Sky Shroud Spearhead with Curse Legion. I think just in general, Curse Legion is very strong. All the strats are good. That -1 to hit reactive strat is just amazing, and you can just do a lot of damage. I mean, with you're running obviously like Necrosaur, so he's strength 12. You run like 1 Catan in there, like the Void Dragon Nightbringer. It is very strong. So I would say Awakened, Canoptic Court, and either Curse Legion and Sky Shroud Spearhead, or Hypercrypt in hand is very interesting as well, or Obeisance Phalanx and Hand of the Dynasty, because Obeisance, you don't have to like invest as many points per se to get the reroll hits and wounds, because you can just put the Overlord in there. So the problem is that you have to run Illuminor Xeris and Necrosaur in Obeisance Phalanx if you want to run Hand of the Dynasty, because obviously you're like playing Hand of the Dynasty to benefit the Immortals. So the Immortals can hit incredibly hard in that detachment because of the fact that you're getting crit 5s, potentially sus lethal, +1 to wound because there's a noble in the unit, right? And full hit and wound rerolls with rapid fire. Pretty nuts. It's a pretty nuts combo. Like, that unit pretty much deletes, I don't want to say anything, but if you set it up correctly, it does a lot of damage. A lot of damage. So, Curse in Hand Dynasty is what I'll be trying. Yeah, I think Curse in Hand, it is interesting. I think I just like the Sky Shroud Spearhead, I think, better, especially now that we have the points on the Locust Destroyers. I think that's a much more interesting combination with their points drops, for sure. What would I recommend running in Canoptic Court? I think, honestly, in Canoptic Court, you could either just slam like 3 units of Immortals and fill out the rest, or you do like 1 Wraith unit and then like 2 units of Immortals, because the Immortals, you can give them the Canoptic Tomb Crawlers because they have the Cryptech keywords, so then they're benefiting from the detachment. And they'll get the full hit rerolls and then wound rerolls, and then they can use all the strats. So you can do the Lone Up 18, you could do the flat 6 reactive move. It's very strong. It's a very, very, very strong combo. The only bummer that I don't like with Canoptic Court is the Immortals don't really have a way to advance and shoot in Canoptic Court other than if you're running the Tesla. And I feel like just in general, you want to be running the Gauze, because the AP1 is so much better now, especially if you're running Xeris. So, but we'll have to see. So, a lot of people said it, but what's your opinion on the Night Scythe able to pick up a unit after it's shot while being 125 points? Amazing a curse when you put a Cryptech and Destroyers in it. Yeah, I've been looking at that combo, and like, I think it's good. I don't think it's bad. Let me check on something with this though, because did they let me see something here, because did they FAQ the Night Scythe like they did the Monolith, where they're counting the Night Scythe as an ingress move? So that would mean that essentially the Locust Destroyers, when they get out of the Night Scythe, they have to be outside of 8 inches of an enemy unit. Let me see here. I don't even know where that would be, but let's find it together here in a second here. So we have Night Scythe, unless somebody knows in the chat, but it's kind of a very technical question. At the end of the fight phase, if there are no models currently embarked on transport, you can select one friendly Necron infantry holy within students. Oh, it counts as just like a disembark instead of like an ability for that, since it's a transport. Okay. Like, it's interesting. Because what, the Night Scythe went down to, what is it, 125 points. So it's pretty cheap. And you run this in Curse Legion, so it doesn't really benefit from any other strats, but you could see. The problem is though, let's see, because you could run the 6 bricks. That's 160 points, right? So 160 points for that, 125. So now you're at what, 285 points plus the characters. That's like a 300 point, like basically like a Catan. Dropping it off, it shoots and pick it. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad, because I think the points went down enough where I think it is interesting. I will say, I think that is an actual interesting combo because of the new hover. So it's what? It's moving 14 inches and then can hide behind or 12 inches if it needs to take to the skies. And then it does deep strike as well. So I feel like you probably... That is interesting. So you could, if you ran the Night Scythe with the 6 brick and what's his face, the Plasmancer, I think that is interesting. I'm not going to lie. That's why we're here. Yeah, 320 point package with Plasmancer and Murder Mine. Because that, I will say, guys, if there is one profile that you want, it is a high volume lethal sustain that's AP2 damage to. I mean, that unit kills God. I mean, it is amazing. The only thing they don't want to go into is something with -1 damage. But outside of that, I mean, they are pretty much... They are knocking over anything. So I think that is an interesting include. And I think the other thing is in Sky Shroud Spearhead, right? I think... let me pull... Here, let's go back here. I want to pull up the detachments again because they don't have them in here. Let's go down to the bottom. And Necrons. Let's see. Okay. So if we did Sky Shroud Spearhead, okay, with Hand of the Dynasty, because I do think this is genuinely, I think, the best way to go if you are going to play Cursed Legion. In my testing, Pharaoh's Armory, it's cute, it's fun. But if you're trying to do well at a GT, I think this is the initial one that is going to be better. Now, the interesting part with this is they would be able to advance and shoot. And I think this is the biggest thing right here. This is, I think, what makes it a good combo. So if you were to move out the Night Scythe, you drop them down, you shoot, you pick them back up, and then they can kill the transport. The bummer is that they will, you know, have to take like the emergency disembark and potentially like blow up some models, but I guess it is what it is. But this is huge, being able to fall back, shoot, and charge, or fall back and shoot, excuse me. So, because a lot of times they're going to kill the transport and they're just going to tag that brick. So, I think if you are going to run that combo, I feel like you have to combine it with Sky Shroud Spearhead to be able to do that effectively. Otherwise, I think you're going to be in for a bad time because I think good opponents will just set up to kill the Night Scythe because it's not that hard to kill. I mean, it's T9. It doesn't have an invul, I don't think, right? Deadly Demise, Transport. Yeah, it doesn't have an invul. So, 12 wounds. Like, it's not going to be that hard to kill, right? So, I think this is a much better option than using the Monolith as a delivery system based on what the points are now. I think this is an actual viable combo, which is interesting. So, if you guys want, I can even do this combo like on the channel if you guys want to see it. I feel bad. I actually do not own a Night Scythe, so I might have to get one because it does seem actually pretty fun to try. Yeah, and that's the other thing. You could do it with the Mythics, though, and put it right back in the back and shoot long range and defensive. You could... I see what you're saying. So you're basically like you're basically saying like you're parking the Night Scythe behind the terrain area. You disembark them on the terrain so they can see through it, and then you shoot, and then you pick them back up. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I will say as well, it makes it very annoying for like melee armies because it because it has hover, so they can just charge it now. Okay. Repost. Cryptoconclave and Sky Shroud gives you a combination of Cryptech nearby. 600 dev wounds on anti-infantry. I think it's cool, but I don't see it. Like as far as I think it's I think it's a cool way to play. But if we're talking like, hey, I'm going to a GT tomorrow. What would I run? It's a cool combo. Don't get me wrong. With the 6 Tune Blades and Devs, it's cool, but I don't think it's going to be probably our go-to. Nightbreaker and Void Dragon, Storm, Overlord with Shroud, 5 more Chronomancer, 10 more. Yeah, that could be very good. That could be very good as well. I'm gonna look at the guys, let's look at these defiler changes, shall we? Let's go back here. And do we want to? We'll just go to Chaos Space Marines because that's what they were notorious for, right? Let's check it out here, guys, together. Oh no! Oh no! Well, yep. See, guys, this could have happened in Catan. But it did not. So we're still going to see defilers, don't get me wrong, but seeing 3 of them, probably not the case. Probably not the case. So yeah, we'll take that. We'll take that all day. So defilers, 3 defilers, probably gone. Okay, Tyranids. I look at them. I am overall very excited about Tyranids as well. The biggest things in Tyranids I'm very excited about is the fact that Hyper Adapted stayed the same, which I think is totally fine. This is freaking crazy. So, Norns both are 250 points now. So I'm just letting you guys know right now that you're going to be seeing a lot of Norns, I think, in the meta, because these guys at 250 points is crazy. And the ability to give the simulator a 4-up invul now, and then they're essentially +3 strength with the strat. I'm telling you guys, like, these guys are freaking crazy, because now essentially the play pattern, you could bring Norns on objectives and you're like, all right, that's my objective, I'm OC 15. And you're like, well, crap, dude, I can't really kill this guy this turn. It's like the same problem with Catan. -1 to hit, 2-up, 4-up, 5-up, feel no pain, super annoying to kill, OC 15, there's like no downside. Then at the start of my command phase, I can just switch it and be like, hey, I'm going to reroll hits, reroll wounds against that target. And the Norn assimilators now, guys, get ready. They freaking hit with that update now, because it pushes them past the breakpoint of strength 11. So their main, I think they're like both of their attacks, I think, are strength 12 and 13 with reroll hits and wounds. It's like crazy, guys. So be looking out for that. I think the Norns in Assimilation Swarm, or in, I think, Vanguard, honestly, as well. I've been testing Vanguard with what was it, the Lictor detachment, which I think is cool, but I think combining Vanguard with the Norn detachment is also very interesting. Very interesting. So we'll have to see. Psychophages stayed the same. Trigon the same. Von Ryan's Leapers, bless their heart, but I think they're just overshadowed, I think, by Gene Stealers, in my personal opinion. I feel like they just kind of just need like a rewrite. Neurogons 45, still like a steal. The other callouts, Biovore, I think, went up 10 points, so that is totally understandable. It being 50 points was like criminal. I think they're auto-include probably still in every Tyranid list. The Norns are crazy. I think we're going to see I think Norns are going to be the new Defilers coming up in the meta. I genuinely think that's going to be happening. Red Terror 130. Lash Whip Prime only went up 10 points. Great. We'll take that all day. I was expecting maybe 15 or 20. Winged Hive Tyrant went up like 15 points. Kind of a bummer, but I do understand it. He is very good in Vanguard, and CP reduction is just really good. It's actually stronger than, I think, generating CP, or like getting the free gen, just the way I think the secondaries work now. So it does make sense that he went up 15 points. And Swarm Whirler went down like 10 just because of the Vect. And Neurolictor went up 10. So the big call out here, I think, and and Hormagaunts went up 10. So this is what I was talking about earlier. Or sorry, they went up 5. Is I feel like any unit that moves 10 inches and advances in charges went up in points. So Hormagaunts are a good example of that, because I feel like 10 movement 10 in a advance in charge is kind of the break point where it's very efficient. I found in 11th edition, because you can launch from your deployment zone. Moving 8 with advance in charge, a little bit more sketch. Gene Stealer stay the same at 75. That's great for us. Broodlord, 80 points, great. Ravener stayed the same, 125. Red Terror still 130. Zoanthropes stayed the same. That's fine, I think. Maliceptor. Oh, the Tyrannifex. So how did this work? Ooh, that's spicy. So Tyrannifex went down to 180. And the acid spray is only 10, which is a really good gun now, honestly, in 11th edition. I mean, the D6 plus 6, and it's a flamer at 622. It's really good. And then Rupture Cannon still 20 points. So you probably honestly see more T-Fexes with acid sprays potentially in the meta. I think it's a very interesting point, and they went down. So overall, T-Fexes with Ruptures are the same, and then you save 10 points on the acid spray, which is pretty good. So I do like that. Ripper Storm's going up to 30. I think that makes sense, just because you could just run like one unit of those, just like drop it with all the positional secondaries. And they have Deep Strike, surprisingly, so I think that's good. The one call out here, and so the Lictor, it seems like in the Tyranid community, everybody's like most high. It seems like on Assimilation Swarm with the Norn detachment, or Vanguard and the Lictor detachment. I will say with the upgrade, so if we look at the, let's see, where is it? One Ambush Predators. So the Camouflage is 15 points. I believe, is that the one that gives you the React move, or is it the Encircling Horrors? Let's see here, one sec. I can't remember. So Encircling Horrors is the React move. So essentially now, if you want a React moving Lictor, that's a Neurolictor, which is those are the ones you really want to run, they're 100 points, which I do get it. It's like crazy strong, but you probably only run it on like one of them, especially if you're running Vanguard, because you have the flat 6 reactive move. It's somewhat interesting just on a Lictor, because those didn't go up in points and they're only 60, but I feel like that's still pretty expensive, because you can still just charge them, right? I mean, granted, you're going to need a 7-inch charge, which is not like, I mean, it's reliable, but it's still kind of like a coin flip. So Neurolictors being at 100 points with the enhancement is interesting, but I feel like, dude, guys, the Norns, man. Both the Norns being 250 now, like you just run one of each. And then you run the upgrade. So this is what I'm talking about, guys. So check this out. Okay, for all you Necron players, for the 190 of you that are still in here, seriously appreciate you hanging out, but I need to make sure you guys are aware, my fellow Necron players, of what these Tyranid players are probably going to be doing here pretty soon. So essentially the Assimilation Swarm now, or not the Assimilation, the friggin' Norn Assimilator, you can give it a 4-Binvol for 20 points. Synaptic Presence. Synaptoprescience. How do you pronounce that, man? Synaptoprescience? Dude, I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm going to be honest. I'm just embarrassing myself live here. That's just great. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Somebody way smarter than me. As if I have no idea. But yeah, that upgrade, 20 points. So essentially, a Norn Assimilator is 270 points, and 4-Binvol. And you get this is the biggest thing. Your unit's melee attacks have +2 strength, man. This is so good. And then this. So essentially what you're doing. Here, I'll pull this up. Okay. Pull this up here. Can you guys see that? Oh, here, let me do this. Is that screwing everything up? Okay. So Hold on. This is unplanned for it here, but check. This is crazy. Oh, let's go reference. Tyranids. Norn Assimilator. Okay. So, has Synapse. So, essentially in combat, this weapon is going to be Strength 12 with potentially full hit and wound rerolls. And this one, for las cannons, basically, full hit and wound rerolls at Strength 15. Okay. Okay, we are cooking. For 270 points, I'm telling you, Norns are going to be the new defilers. Get ready. Get ready, y'all. I'm telling you. Right here, right now, it's going to happen. So, other than that, I'm going to be here for 5 more minutes, guys. 5 more minutes, and we are clocking out because I got to get to work. So, drop in those questions. 5 minutes, power hour, power 5 minutes. Here we go. What do we want to know? Let me catch up on some things here. Zone threats being the same is actually very nice with psychic buff. Yeah, I think that's good. Flayed ones are cheaper now, so just run 3 bricks of 10. Possibly. Possibly. I'm not super high on flayed ones, but hey, if you can make them work, let's do it. No CP are still locked to 1 extra per round. Aside from all the... Yeah, CP is just locked to 1 extra per round, I believe, yeah. There's a relic in Canoptic Core, presumably possibly additional 2 CP around. Oh, are you saying like did they change how many CP you can gain in a round? Is it more than 1 now? I don't know if that's correct. I don't think that's correct, but I could be wrong. Let's see. I'm commenting the rules. You see anything? Looked at Tau yet? Thoughts about the T-Volt and Obeisance now? Guys, I think the T-Volt and the Monolith, unfortunately, I think they're fun to play, but competitively, I just don't see it. I think the damage is just going to be too high in the meta. I mean, look what I just showed you with the Norns. I mean, the Norns could just go up, and, I mean, with full hit and wound rerolls, they're probably getting, like, 9 wounds on that thing, and they probably just pop it on the spot with a Tank Shock, or now a Crushing Impact, right? I just don't, especially with their points going up. I mean, play it for fun, you know, it's great, you know, with the local game store with your friends and stuff, but as far as like top meta pick, I don't think so. Yeah, this will be, you'll be able to watch it on the channel afterwards. So after I conclude here the stream, you can rewatch the beginning part. Yep. Ooh, it doesn't look like there's a cap anymore on CP gain. Interesting. Well, let's double check on that. I don't know where that would exactly be. I mean, it's like an FAQ somewhere, but that's pretty crazy if that's the case. Do we have a verdict on whether, here, let me go back to the Necrons. Do we have a verdict on whether we can random bodyguards back if we have left is a leader? As far as I understand the rules right now, if your bodyguard unit dies and you still have the leader, you can bring back the bodyguard unit, because the way that the rules state, it's all 1 unit. I don't think it works the other way around, and I don't want to say anything publicly because I think it's going to vary of how people are interpreting the rules until they come out with the official FAQ, as if like somebody precisions out the character, and then it gets weird. But I know as far as the rules right now, if you kill like all the race and the Technomancer's still alive, as far as I understand it right now, when you reanimate, you can bring back the race. So. No CP cap would explain the absurd point increase for guard squad. Yeah, I heard guard got hit pretty bad. I haven't caught up on anything. I'll try to catch up on it later when I'm working, but. Yeah, so Triarch Stalker, I'll tell you right now, I think if you run like Obeisance Phalanx, I think is the most interesting. You run 3 Stalkers, Silent King, Overlord, or 10 Immortals, because you're running Obeisance Phalanx with Hand of the Dynasty. 10 immortals with Overlord and Translocation Shroud. That's kind of like your core, and then fill it out from there. So add like a Catan in, some trash, probably 1 or 2 units of Ophidians. Yeah, probably 2 units of Ophidians, Silent King, 3 Stalkers, Immortals with Overlord, Xeris Necrosaur, and then fill it out from there. I think it's really good. Any other questions? But yeah, I think the Night Scythe is very interesting. So yeah, the Stalkers, because the Stalkers benefit from the detachment. So there's a lot of benefits with the Stalkers, because now if they toe into a footprint, they're -1 to hit and they can shoot through it. They blip ignore cover for the rest of your army. You synergize with -1 damage. You can make them OC7. They move fast. For 110 points. I mean, they're a very, very efficient unit for 110 points. So I think you at least run 2. I could see a reason to run 3, honestly. And Obeisance Failing specifically. I think that's the only detachment you run them in right now. Yeah, I'd say Annihilation Bard's still probably for in the fun category. But we shall see. But other than that, hey, if y'all hung around this long, as always, seriously appreciate you watching. It will be up on the channel after we conclude here. So if you didn't see the first half, you can watch that. And I will be back later this week, probably on Friday, and I will be doing a tier list, which will go live on the channel. So be checking that out of my initial takes of what I think are going to be our strongest and weakest units going into 11th edition. So if you're just coming back, if you're just starting a Necron hobby, if you're just getting into 40K, freaking welcome. I'm glad you're here. This is an amazing hobby, and it just got better with the new app update. I'm so excited to dive even into that more and being able to score through the app. I mean, just so many quality of life improvements for us Warhammer players. So there's a lot to be happy about. There's a lot to celebrate today. I'm going to be nerding out with lists as much as you guys are. But as always, really appreciate your support and really appreciate watching. And we will catch you in the next one. Peace, y'all.